Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi, ho, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. You guys know I love a good fight. This from Ghana Web, your home for comedy news. Nigerian comedian Parrot has alleged that comedian Funnyface has breached a contract between them by failing to perform at his event after receiving payment. I love that their names are Parrot and Funnyface. According to Parrot, Funnyface was booked to perform at a show in Nigeria and was paid half his performance fee before the event. But then Funnyface demanded full payment before he would perform. Parrot said Funnyface failed to show up at the event and hasn't reached out to refund the earlier half payment. He also said Funnyface hasn't returned any calls. We paid half the money. We had to call him more than 50 times. He didn't pick up the call. I didn't even call him for a refund or write to him for anything because I believe that whatever you do, we'll catch up with you. Uh-oh. Arj Barker, remember he asked a breastfeeding woman and the baby to leave his show the other day. Arj Barker says, I have nothing against babies. Number one, the breastfeeding thing, non-issue. It should be inadmissible. And I had no idea she was breastfeeding or not because I was on a lit stage. All I could see was a woman likely holding a baby. The breastfeeding was never part of it. If it were the father, I would have acted the exact same way. It had nothing to do with the baby making noise. It was purely an audio issue. It had nothing to do with her being a mom. I have nothing against moms. Forbes asked Neil Brennan, hey, Neil Brennan, you asked AI to generate some opening lines for your new special. What are your hopes, dreams, and fears about AI and comedy? I'd like to be able to load all my material into an AI and have things generated passively for me so I can use them, but I don't think you're going to be able to replicate it completely. Human beings like human beings. I'm hoping it'll be incredible for medicine, science, automation, but in terms of AI as a comedian, you're going to root for the person. I don't think you want to see a new hour made for me in conjunction with a robot. Well, I took that challenge. I threw some Neil Brennan into the AI, and here's what it came up with. Again, Neil Brennan would tell it better and write it better, but AI Neil Brennan, as translated by Johnny Mac, is, you know you're getting old when your biggest life goal is keeping up with your copays. Meanwhile, kids these days are all about crypto and TikTok fame. I'm just trying to avoid needing a hip replacement before the next Marvel movie comes out. Not sure that sounds like Neil Brennan. It sounds like really, really poor man's Bill Burr to me. If the Tuesday Night Middler at the Chuckle Hut did that joke, it's not the worst joke. I mean, by itself, it's pretty bad. But in the middle of a set, it would work. One of those, loud guys. Here's another one of the same style. I don't think it sounds like Neil Brennan. I finally read the self-help book everybody was raving about. Turns out the key to happiness is being yourself. Great. So I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Next one, a little hack, but again, Tuesday, Middler at the Chuckle Hut. Yeah, they say laughter is the best medicine. Clearly, those people have never tried Xanax. Nothing soothes the dread like pharmaceutical-grade mood alteration. And this next one, it also doesn't sound like Neil Brennan. It sounds more Hedbergian or Dimitri Martin. It's actually a pretty good joke. I used to think I was indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. That's actually a solid joke. I'm adding that to my joke book. When Dan Bublitz Jr. forces me to open for him some night, I'm going to whip that one out. I am not a comedian. Can you tell? All right, back to Neil Brennan and then some more fun here. So Forbes said, do you think AI can be a tool? Neil said, if it can take what I've made and have an AI farm material for me, yeah. I think Drake should be able to load in all his vocals. And then if he likes something, he can redo it. That's fair usage artistically. But as someone who's written jokes for other people, I can get into the psychology of another person. I've written material for Dave Chappelle. What it took for me to do that, I don't think it'd be easy for a computer to do. So I asked the computer to write some Dave Chappelle jokes. And stay with me here. I'm doing a bit. Don't cancel me. So it wrote some jokes. This is 98% Dave Chappelle and 2% Johnny Mac, turning it into a Dave Chappelle style joke. Do you know where I'm going here? Don't cancel me. Okay, the AI mostly wrote, I've been thinking about this whole participation trophy thing. People always complain about how kids these days get rewarded for showing up. Let's be real. Isn't that what we all want? I'd love to get a trophy every time I manage to get out of bed and face another day in this crazy world. Imagine if we got participation trophies for all the mundane stuff we do. Congratulations on paying your taxes on time. Great job remembering to change the toilet paper roll. Congratulations on being trans. And see, and now Dave, he smokes a cigarette and he mugs for the camera and he does that thing like he's going to fall over and he makes the face and he laughs at you. That's a Dave Chappelle joke. Speaking of Dave Chappelle jokes, now I'm trying to illustrate here, there is a way, and hopefully I just did it, to make a trans joke that's not a trans joke. It's just, that's really a joke about Dave Chappelle. Another joke that I recently made in the car, I was driving through Pennsylvania on I-80, and there was a truck. And the truck had its brand on the side of the truck. And it said, blank, America, and it's on a truck. And as I passed the truck, I just looked at my daughter, and out of nowhere I go, even the trucks are trans now. That's funny. I don't mean that in hate. It's just funny. It's a truck. Don't cancel me. I'm just having fun in the basement. The AV Club listed the 25 best Saturday Night Live cast members of this century. Now, behind the scenes here, this is actually take 2 of the podcast. I recorded half the podcast, and I noticed the mic levels were just wrong, and it wasn't worth fixing the audio, so I just did it again. So I kind of know where this is going this time. So you're not going to get quite the reaction I did the first time. But it is the 25 best SNL cast members of the century. And as I sat here, I was like, okay, who's going to be on this? Tina and Amy, Bowen should be on it. Kate McKinnon will be pretty high. And then I dove in and I started reading it. So 25 is Bowen Yang. 24 is Fallon, who, was he that good on SNL? 23 is Vanessa Bayer. And at that point, I commented on take 1 of this podcast. Apparently, this is just a list of 25 people someone can name that were on SNL because... yeah, Vanessa Bayer. Okay, I guess. This isn't exactly Belushi and Aykroyd, is it? 22, Parnell. 21, Bobby Moynihan. I mean, come on. 20, Anna Gasteyer. 19, Seth Meyers. Other than sitting at the desk, was he that good? Jason Sudeikis at 18. 80, Bryan at 17. Molly Shannon, Tracy Morgan. And here's where I draw the line. I draw it between 15 and 14 because 14 is Cecily Strong, who I think is criminally underrated. So talented. 13, Daryl Hammond, 95 to 2009. Rachel Dratch at 12. Forte at 11. Mac Packer. Oh, wait, it was number 10. I skipped number 10. Number 10, Fred Armisen. Andy Samberg at 9. He's in the Mac Pack. He should be much higher. Tina Fey. Keenan at 7. Maya Rudolph at 6. Poehler. Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wiig, great pick at 3. This next one threw me because this guy was on from 95 to 02. I think of him as a 90s act, but I guess he was on this century. Will Ferrell. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, 90s guy. Number 1, Bill Hader. I mean, as I look at this list, I could give it to Keenan just for longevity. I'd pull Kate way up. I'd actually pull Bowen Yang up. I'd pull Samberg up. So starting at the top, throwing out Will Ferrell just for reasons discussed. Hader, Kristen Wiig, Kate, Poehler, Maya Rudolph, Keenan, Tina Fey, Samberg, Fred Armisen. Yeah, probably Kristen, Kate. I'd put Tina ahead of Amy. That'd probably be my list. Steve Carell will star opposite Tina Fey in the upcoming Netflix comedy series The Four Seasons, based on the 1981 film of the same name. That one starred Alan Alda and Carol Burnett in The Four Seasons. 3 married couples take vacations together each season, but things are thrown for a loop when one of the husbands leaves his wife and begins bringing a younger woman with him. Uh-oh. Let's check in at the Sydney Comedy Festival. Yes, I actually pulled clips in advance. Got my act together this week, huh? Well, except for the whole thing where I did half this podcast and the mic levels were atrocious. I had to redo it. Other than that, I have my act together this week. Chloe Petts, fresh from her smash hit Edinburgh Fringe and Soho Theatre sessions. She makes her Sydney debut. She has charmed audiences with her polite take on big issues, and now she's cashing in on those points and plans and being really rude. It's no more Mr. Nice, Chloe. Let's listen.
I've always been very masculine. I was what you would call a child geezer. You've probably seen children geezers knocking around, just the sort of kid that looks like they can handle themselves at a wedding, right? Cousin Brian, he ain't getting too near with the tickly fingers, they got it covered, right? The first time I realised I was a child geezer is when I went to ballet class when I was about 7, and I walked in, first mistake, did think it was a contact sport. That is what I mean. I walked in and there were all these lovely girls in their tutus sort of politely jumping up for a jeté. I looked like I was going up for a corner, just sort of stomping around the room like I was Ross Kemp on Gangs. Parents coming and going, sorry, why is there a bouncer in the ballet class?
We're told to expect routines on wedding dance floors, the footy, and calling you all a bunch of virgins. As she reinvents herself as a tougher, more brutal comedian, supposedly. Chortle said the show is structured, controlled, keeps the laughter rolling right to the end. Metro UK said, has the audiences in stitches, 4 stars. All right, next up, let's listen to Chris Ryan. The world and everyone in it has reduced Chris Ryan to eye rolls and sighing. How are we expected to take anything seriously when everything is so half-arsed? What if the only thing that sparks your joy is another's misfortune? Chris Ryan's show is called Good O. Let's listen.
I'm listening to a meditation app that tells me to do the next thing I'm going to do in my life with quality, as if the most important person in the world is watching. And look, that's a lot of pressure. Some things are aided by imagining Ryan Gosling's watching. Not everything. And at this point, I love imagining him just going, why do you keep bringing me to your weird comedy show? I didn't want to be here. And as for what you made me watch this afternoon, I can't unsee that.
Amazon MGM Studios has ordered a pilot for Dinks. Sounds dirty, right? But no. An improvisational style multicam comedy starring June Diane Raphael and Paul Scheer. In Dinks, Josh and Charlie, played by June and Paul, are a couple who, in absence of marriage or kids, decide to literally build a life together by renovating their nightmare of a dream house. Okay. Wrestling fans, the Ultimate Champion, wrestler Cody Rhodes, will make a cameo in the Naked Gun. I don't know why we're rebooting the Naked Gun, and if you're going to reboot it, why are you rebooting it with Liam Neeson as your star? He's already 71. I don't know if you know any police officers. Many of them choose to do their 20, 25, 30 years and retire. You don't see too many 71-year-old cops. I get it's a parody. I get it. I don't know. I like Liam Neeson, but weird casting here. This is like when Steve Martin was the Pink Panther and I wanted to throw pies at the wall. That was just, what are you doing? An insider told the Daily Mail, Cody Rhodes may be having a huge feud with The Rock in the WWE ring right now, but it looks like the battle will extend to Hollywood as he's going to star in the new Naked Gun film. Is it star or cameo? I suspect it's cameo. And that is your comedy news for today. Now, we're working on bringing back the subscriptions on Apple Podcasts so you can get the show commercial free. Let me tell you how this is going to work, okay? Behind the scenes, it's a pain in the neck. I publish the podcast at 3:05 Eastern. I can't preload the commercial-free version. So the best I can do is publish the show at 3:05, and then when I get up in the morning, go, oh yeah, I should publish the commercial-free version. So I don't want to promise you that when you wake up in the morning, you'll get the show commercial-free. I can promise you that you'll get the archive commercial-free, but you can also get the archives on the entire network here at Calaroga Shark Media. All the fiction shows we've loaded commercial-free. Palace Intrigue will be like this one. We'll get up in the morning, we'll clean it up. Trivia will be like this one. We'll get up in the morning and clean it up. All right, so I don't want to overpromise you. And if you want to try this out, you can get a free 30-day trial. Open up this show. It'll put the option in front of you. You can try it out. If you go, this sucks, you can cancel it anytime. Even if you like it, you can cancel it anytime. $4.99 a month. Or if you prefer to support podcasts using value for value, if you know what I'm talking about, you can stream sats in our direction. Some apps you could use, Fountain, Podcast Guru, or True Fans. I've been playing around with Fountain and Podcast Guru this week. Or you can do what you did when you woke up today. You can just follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your shows. If you're new, push that button that says follow so you never miss an episode, and I'll see you here tomorrow.